Thank you very much, everyone. So I'm going to speak to you today about Restart a Heart Live. Here we go. Restart a Heart Live is obviously the live stream event that we run. So where did Restart a Heart Live start? It started with an idea which came from the Scottish Borders. Paramedic Lee Myers and his brother Liam and Michael Gardner, who came to ourselves with an idea of live streaming into the schools and the borders. And the Save a Life for Scotland partners have helped to make this now a UK event. So Restart Heart Live is not just a live stream, and it's certainly not to replace all the amazing CPR training that's going on in the schools, all the face-to-face training, but it is a very important part of the bigger system. So as we all know, the problem very well, an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest is an absolutely brutal, time-critical incident. So, you know, the faster that we can get people to recognise a cardiac arrest, put the call out for help, start CPR, and use a defib, then we'll obviously start to make a big difference. We already have in Scotland, over the last number of years, we've been building a system with all the Save a Life for Scotland partners, the Scottish Ambulance Service, Heart Start groups, your local community first responder groups, who are all out there doing training. We've also been working with the Scottish Government, and basically we're all trying to do the same thing. We're just trying to move that dial. And we've made lots of progress. As you can see from this, the partnership has already trained 1 million people. However, we do also know that the training that is going on out there is not evenly distributed. Some schools have got very enthusiastic staff who are very keen to have the children involved in CPR training. Some areas have got community first responders that are keen to be in their local schools. We've also got all the Save a Life for Scotland partners that are doing a great job. And also, you know, there's a lot of parents there that are willing to advocate for their children and say to the school, this is important. Please can, the children have the training. However, there is a lot of children that don't get this opportunity. This is where Restart a Heart Live can bridge that gap. It's a terrible picture. So, Restart a Heart Live is a free national live stream event that brings CPR and defibrillator familiarisation directly into the classroom and communities all across the UK. It makes everything a little bit simpler because you've got no travel for instructors. There's no need to find trainers. And there's no need to find mannequins. So this is what it looked like last year. Pupils can practice in real time, just following the live stream. All they need is a cushion, a teddy, a jacket in a rucksack, and just follow what is on screen. So they can all get involved in this. So this CPR training is very much part of the ecosystem. As I said, it's not to replace face-to-face training. We're not saying you don't need mannequins, and we're not saying that a live stream is the same as face-to-face training. However, what we are saying, it's really important part of this ecosystem. And children learn in different ways. You know, some may enjoy the face-to-face, but certainly the feedback that we got from Restart Heart Live was they all very much enjoyed this. This was the results from 2025. We streamed on the 1st of October, and we had 132,000 people watch the live stream throughout the UK. So we know that cardiac arrest outcomes vary. Some communities face clusters of disadvantages. That could be health, geography, it's all the kind of stuff that we've been speaking about today. Accessibility to training, and also the availability of public defibrillators. This is very interesting because, as you can see from the SIMD figures here, this shows that Restart a Heart Live was able to train 15% of the views of Restart a Heart Live were from SIMD1. Now that's the most deprived areas. These are the hardest areas to get into, and these children deserve CPR training as much as all the other ones. So we're really hoping to continue to bridge that gap. So why are we so interested in training schools? Because children change culture. They learn quickly. They ask questions, sometimes awkward questions, but they open up these conversations. So let's imagine that your primary 6 student has just watched Restart a Heart Live. He then goes home, he starts talking to whoever's in his house about what he's done. He starts speaking to the adults. Now all of a sudden, when they go out, they're noticing where their local defib is. And they're more aware of this. That school pupil in years to come may become a first aider. They may even join the ambulance service, become a paramedic. But they may also be the person that steps up when there's a cardiac arrest. So I've got a big ask for you. You can take your phones out again. If you take the QR code, the ask is, if you're a paramedic or involved in any kind of organisation, if you can think of your local school, it might be one that your child's at, or a niece or a nephew. On here, you can print off a letter and you can ask your school to be involved and give the children the opportunity to watch this. The other ask that I have from you is if you can share all the assets that we're going to put onto the website. So if you can share them on any bulletins, Facebook, any social media, we would really appreciate that. The only way that this is going to grow, and we're looking to train 1 million by next year, is by everybody sharing this and encouraging schools, communities to get involved. I'll finish with this. And out of hospital cardiac arrest, we often speak about gaps. You'll hear it all the time. The gap between the person collapsing and recognition. And then we talk about the gap between recognition and CPR starting, and then CPR starting and the defib arriving and the defib being placed. We're always talking about those gaps. Restart a Heart Live isn't a solution to all of these gaps, but it's a practical, scalable, low-cost way of closing them. It gives families a conversation. It allows children to act. So before you leave here today, if I could ask if you can all think of one school. It could be a school that's in your local vicinity. And if I can ask that you just contact them and just give them that wee nudge just to say, do you know about this? You can print off the letter, give them the QR code. If we could ask everybody just to get involved with one school, that would be great. Or you can get involved in as many as you like, but that would be amazing. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah.